This video is about Elfie's home ed. I'm doing this video just in case there's anything on it that's useful to anyone. So I'm just sharing how we go about it and what kind of things we do. Elfie's always been home edited. Yeah, she's never been to school. So it took a while to get into a routine of getting a plan together of how we were going to go about it. And the plan that we've got now really is working well for Elfie. So the first thing on our plan is this little board. I think it's going to be back to front because of the mirrored video. So on there we've got a daily plan of things that just happen every day. So this is really helpful, especially if a kid has Asperger's or ADHD or needs any help with things like that. So it's literally got on it brushing teeth, breakfast, big drink of water, all the things that she just need to remember to do every day. Getting up in the morning, there's a bit about what to do in the morning, and then a little routine for every day at lunchtime, and a little routine for every day at evening and at bedtime. So this is nothing to do with schoolwork. This is just her daily routine. It goes on this board and stays there because it's the same. And then in between those slots for morning, lunchtime, evening and bedtime is the slots about the schoolwork. So we try to do as much child-led learning as possible, and we just give her nudges with things where we feel we might like to kind of just direct her a little bit to do some more reading or writing, but usually she's doing lots of that kind, everything that we would want her to do anyway, to make sure she's learning what she'd need to learn in our, for what is right for our family, what feels right to us. So she's got a little box that says, after the morning routine, it says schoolwork, exercise, playtime, home care, and then after lunchtime she's got schoolwork and play, and then after tea time she's got just play. So then there's 2 sheets of paper we've got on there, and then that's for the 2 school time slots, after morning and after lunch, and then those change from day to day. So we put a blank sheet of 2 blank sheets of paper on there every day, which get filled in the night before. So night before. So I've written all this down because I'm a bit tired, so just to make sure I don't forget anything. So our night before routine is what we would need to do tomorrow, or what we would like to do tomorrow. So we do this together with Elfie, or one of us will do it together with Elfie. So she gets choices within things, like we go to curriculum. So we made Elfie a curriculum, made it with her. So it's got on there things like science, history, music, PE, physical education, cooking, nature studies, forest school, that's all together, and then home and self-care, arts and crafts, holistics and herbal, environment and planet care, English, maths, languages, geography, and earth and culture studies. So we keep that curriculum on the wall, and that's just really, really useful for if we run out of ideas or we're getting stuck of what to do, or to help Elfie to find her own direction in the kind of subject she fancies doing the next day. So we look on the curriculum, and she kind of looks at what she would like to do, what ideas she's got for projects and things that she'd like to learn, and then we fill in those slots on the blank papers. So then what we do is we think, because this video is also about us working from home, me and Luke both work from home, and so we can then work out what times we've got the next day, whether her, what times we've got for her to do assisted schoolwork, like things that we can do with her, do a project with her and do some work with her and help her, and then what time slots we'd need to do unassisted schoolwork. So then if we're both working together, we've got her schoolwork set up for the next day with her. We do that before bedtime. So she knows what she's going to be doing, and she's got everything ready and set up so she can just get stuck into her schoolwork or her projects alongside us while we're doing our work. So yeah, we work that out every day around what time we've got to do, so if we've got more time to do assisted schoolwork, then we put more things in that would work with her needing some help, and then more unassisted on days where we need to do more work ourselves. So she makes her choices from the curriculum, and then we help her or direct her if needed. Like, or we'll just put a little bit more reading or a little bit more writing in there. We need to practice some writing or some punctuation or things like that, and some spelling. Then we set up what's needed for her. So if we've got a heavy work day, then we're going to set up those things on her desk or in a little learning area, so she can just get her school books out and get her stuff out and have it ready to get stuck into her work. And then we put the plan so that these sheets would be filled in of what her schoolwork she's going to be doing that day, and so she's chosen it or we've done it together, and that's on the wall, and she can just go and remember what it was she was going to be doing. And yeah, so that's her plan ready for her. And then the way that we go about planning her schoolwork is, it works really well with Elfie doing it through challenges. So we do a lot of challenges, so like an exciting challenge to write a poem about blah blah blah, like whatever the subject is. So what, or say to her, what would you love to write a poem about, what's really inspiring you right now, and then she just really loves doing poetry. Or a little set of maths problems to solve. So I've just wrote down a few examples of things, like learn 5 new Spanish words, learn to read them, write them, pronounce them, and then write out little labels that she can stick around the house. So like, say if it's the word for mirror, she can stick it on the mirror. If it's the word for door, she can stick it on the door, and so on. So she's doing reading, writing, all within that as well. Like other challenges we might do is like find out the answer to this in the biology book, like what's this bone called, or how does this work in this system, things like that. Where in the world are these countries? So we'll give her a list of countries, and she can find out whereabouts they are, what continents they're in. Maybe we might extend that into finding something out about those countries. Read up to this chapter of this book that she's reading and find out what happened next. Maybe I've got some PE ideas which I can share at the end, but like, say for instance, maybe we've made a race course, like she's got to run around this and hop to that and jump to this, and and she might organise that with us, of exciting fun things to do as part of the race, and then work out a number of times to do it. So she might go off and do a challenge of see if we can do this 8 times, or however many times. Maybe a challenge of a nature treasure hunt, like take out a basket and fill it with certain things that she needs to hunt for. Look for this leaf or this kind of tree or this kind of flower. So she's practicing identifying different plants and trees or insects, creatures, and or things like, what do these 20 words mean? So we might write down 20 different words, and then she would write next to it her own explanation of what she thinks the words mean, and then either she knows them already or it might be new words that she didn't understand. And so challenges is how we work quite a lot, and then sometimes we do things like more courses or projects, so more intensive work. So we've kind of really looked at what, sort of how Elfie's brain works and what works well for her, like what things she's got a longer attention span to, what things she's got a shorter attention span to, and might like just little bursts of it, like in like the challenges, like and maybe mixing the challenges up, like doing a bit of maths challenge and then a bit of something else challenge and then coming back to a bit of more maths challenge and things like that. Or if she's needing to focus more and really focus on just one thing, then we would do just the one thing for longer rather than bits of things. So it depends kind of how she's functioning at the time and what's working well for her at the time. So if she's feeling like, we do a thing that we call freedom to focus. So if she is really wanting to focus on a particular subject, like say she was really interested in potion making and herbally things, and so she actually did a proper herbal course last autumn, which worked really well. So she's learning to make proper potions. So it's like the learning opportunities within the subject that she's really interested in at the time. So it's kind of, she's stretching her knowledge base and learning more about it. So it's extending from play through, you know, something that involves something she loves playing and learning things about it, and making the actual little potions and remedies herself and balms and things like that. So that was one time where we did more freedom to focus with that one. At the moment she's doing a lot of gardening and self-sufficiency work with us, because that's kind of where our work has turned, with what's going on currently. So we've had to plant up a lot extra food this year than we normally would. So it's a great learning opportunity for her to learn lots about self-sufficiency. So she's been, yeah, really joining in on that and doing a lot of learning through that. So, and yeah, like say if we were traveling, maybe she'd learn about where we are, and things within that, or maybe a current, you know, what season we're in and learning about the season and things like that. So that's the freedom to focus thing we do, and the kind of more course intensive kind of work. So she's really intensively learning about self-sufficiency at the moment and everything within it, like preservation and what to do if there's lots of this kind of insect and stuff like that, to look after the vegetables and things. Yeah, so if she really wants to hyper focus on something and really go for it with something, then we help her to do that and really fulfill it with what she's really loving to learn. What have I got next? Flow. Oh yeah, flow. So I put down flow, like play slots to get into in between. So we put on her, going back to her daily plan, so there's slots of play time in between, just like at school where you have break times and time to play. So she knows that she's got like this little slot of doing this and this little slot of doing that, which we've planned together. And then she's like, okay, we've got like this long for having some play time, and then we'll move on to doing some cooking or something like that. So she's got lots of little things sort of changing in between of things to get to. And then, oh yeah, I've put down balance. So sometimes we sort of circulate around subjects within the day or within the week, and then other times we might not necessarily do a subject daily or even weekly. Like we might kind of really, like with the courses and coursework, you might really focus on one thing for a bit, so we let some other things drop back for a bit and then bring them all back in, or bring some of them back in. We kind of go with the flow of that and see what she needs to keep in the loop with more, yeah, as that goes along. Sorry, that's not confusing. And then yeah, so we, you know, she's got like some practical work. We'll try and keep a balance of her having some practical work like the cooking and experience, you know, doing things, and then some written work and some reading work and things like that. And then share times. This one has really helped so much with working from home. So share times or reporting findings is like, if me and Luke are both working, or one of us is doing something and the other one's working, and we need to focus on what we're doing, sometimes Elfie will want to like update us on every new thing she's finding out as she's doing it. Like, I've just found this out, and I'm just, because she's excited, I was like, I've just found out about this, and did you know this works like this? So we have share times at allotted times, because then if I'm really trying to focus on my work, she knows that she's got that space that's for her, and she's got a notepad so she can jot down anything that she wants to tell me that she might forget and things like this. Again, this might help, with people with ADHD and Asperger's and stuff like that. So that thing of maybe forgetting, just jotting it down and having that allotted time to be able to like really share everything that she's been finding out is really nice. And then I get the freedom to focus myself while she's doing her schoolwork, and then I get to hear about it and she gets to tell me about it, but it's not constant all the time while I'm trying to focus. So that's our share times. So sorry, bear with me, I'm just looking at the list again. Yeah, so she would share the whole morning at lunchtime. So at lunchtime, like, she'll tell us about all the things she's really excited that she's found out or learned or done, or anything that she wants to share at lunchtime, or in any little break, in the little breaks that we have in between, and so on. So that's how that works for us. And then I've got another little thing there about learning through play. So a lot of Elfie's learning has come about through play, like writing and control with the pen. She's really interested in things like Robin Hood and Merlin and Arthur and things like that. So sometimes she gets a feather quill that she's made and some ink and writes like Robin Hood scrolls and stuff like that. She loves doing that, so she just writes letters, and sometimes they're really, really long and got a lot of wording in as well, because she's really excited to write the letter. So she's getting really good practice of pen control and writing neatly, because it's actually a really difficult way to write with the quill, being different to writing with a biro or something. So that's really useful, things like that. And for a long time now, she loves playing news reporter. So she has a typewriter, and sometimes she writes it with a pen, and she just like looks around for any stories she can think of to report, of like, like sometimes little things like the lettuce seeds have germinated today and we've got lettuces, or this is what we got for dinner today, or like anything that's like little bits of news for her, like anything that's going on around or that she's been doing that day. Yeah, so she would write all that into her newspaper that she makes. And they're usually quite detailed, and it involves a lot of writing and spelling. We help her with her spelling with that and look at her spelling. So that's a news reporter game. Playing school, she loves playing school, so we do like a role reversal where I'll be the student or Luke will be the student and she'll be the teacher, but as long as she's like doing real teaching, so she's actually teaching us real things that she's learned, things that she's found out about, and then she sets us work and stuff like that. So she's like, she's kind of learning in that way, and finding out things to teach us. So she's finding out new things to teach us, and then she shares that with us in the little classroom game. That's nice. And then we write letters back and forth. She loves writing letters, and she loves writing signs, even like from when she was really little. She's loved writing signs, and she sticks them up all over the place. So that's lots of writing and spelling practice in there as well. So and then, like I was saying about the herb course with the potions and loving playing potions and things, so it just stretches it into something to do with schoolwork more. So she's playing and doing schoolwork. And then sometimes we just look at like what is she really loving playing at the moment, and what can we do something with that within her schoolwork and stuff. Questions is the next one I've got down. So learning through sets of questions is really works well for her. Rather than us telling her this happens if this happens, we'll just ask her, what do you think happens if we do this? So like we might write her a list of questions as part of her schoolwork that's left on the desk for her time to do unassisted at schoolwork. So like lots of questions, what happens if this happens and what happens if that happens, and then she is using her brain to think about it, and then write the answer, and then we can discuss it. Learning through sets of questions. Yeah, so she just remembers it better if she's come up with the answer herself, and that works really, really nicely with her. So she's doing a lot of questions at the moment about the plants and self-sufficiency. So we're asking, you know, what would happen if you had the water on full force when you're watering seedlings? You know, what would happen to those tiny little plants if you're using full force water? That's just a little example, you know, like things like that. So she's really thinking about it, and how to take care of the tiny plants and stuff like that. Oh yeah, I think I already went over this. Smaller challenges if she needs more variety and things to move on quicker, and shorter things to put attention to, or longer focus time if she's needing to really focus on things for longer and not keep swapping and changing. Again, that's more relating to Asperger's and ADHD, but probably might be useful to other children as well. And on which subjects, like, you know, is she really interested in something at the moment that, you know, she really needs to just really focus on that. And then if we feel like her energy is really lagging on a particular thing that she's got set, because we set it the night before together, and then maybe she's kind of not really so interested in that anymore. So if we can feel that her energy is really lagging with something, then we'll pick something out of the surprise bag of, you know, something else to do. Let's just change it up and try this instead, and we can always come back to the other thing another time. And with us working from home, we look at our, you know, I know that might not be possible for everyone, but we look at our work shifts. So sometimes we work in the morning, and then we work at night, and then the afternoon would be free to do some assisted learning together and play times and stuff like that. And we do shifts as well. So like sometimes Luke's working and I'm not, and sometimes I'm working and he's not, and sometimes we just have to work together. So then, yeah, we just plan those shifts to give the most time that we can. And then, you know, like assisted time, like so learning things that she needs help to learn. And then during assisted time we might also do something that we do family music, where we just all play music together. It's often rhythm related. We're working with rhythm and drumming, and or using instruments in a rhythmic way. Is family music and singing songs and stuff. And family exercise is something we do during assisted time and play times as well. So family exercise is for us, sorry, bear with me, where's my sheet? This is a sheet of ideas for PE. Yeah, family exercise, we often do just picking funny exercises in turns. So like if the three of us are doing it together, Luke will pick something to do that's, you know, some kind of exercise move, like, I don't know, kicking one leg in the air than the other or whatever, and then Elfie will pick something and I'll pick something, and we all just, you know, sometimes it's just made up stuff and just anything to really get the heart rate up and exercise. And then we also do the assault courses around the garden as well. That thing where I said, like, you know, you've got to hop to this point, and then you've got to jump to this point, and then you got to, like Elfie might set things up with, you got to carry this to this point, or jump in a sack, or, you know, things like the old-fashioned races and stuff like that. So silly races together as well. We might do yoga or online yoga on YouTube. Me and Elfie do something we call animal dancing. So we've got the Native American animal cards, and we'll take it in turns to pick one, and then we both try and move like that animal or dance like that animal, and then we usually read as well what that animal's about, like doing a little card reading for the relaxation bit afterwards, and some meditation and stuff. We do family aerobics, which is a bit like family exercise, you know, just maybe a bit more structured of certain aerobics moves. And then, the yoga trapeze, we've got a yoga trapeze in the house that's fixed to a beam, and that's really good for, she loves working on that. And then circus skills is something else we do for exercise, like poi and hula. She loves working with the hula hoop. Cycling, running. Sometimes we just do circuits around the garden, running laps around the garden, like trampoline challenge, like or games, old-fashioned games. Yeah, so that's what we do for exercise time. And then just nice things to do, like obviously we do all the craft stuff that we do. And then other nice things that we do in playtime, which I thought I'd share a few things, is puppet shows. This one's really nice to tie in with some written work. So she would like make up a story and write the story and then act it out with the puppets in a little puppet show. So she's literally writing her own little TV show and then acts it out. Sometimes we do that with shadows as well, do shadow puppetry with a candle or some fairy lights behind. She's made a little puppet theatre out of a cardboard box with some thin paper, so you can do shadow puppets. We make stuff out of rubbish. We just keep as much rubbish as we can for her to recycle into whatever she wants, like that radio she made, or she made lots of pairs of glasses and things like that and made an optician's shop, so she makes her own toys. And sometimes we do spa and relaxation nights, so we might have a foot bath and yeah, things like that, nice relaxation. What else have we got there? And sometimes we do family challenges together, like say an eco challenge or something, like what can we change as a family, what can we do as a family, or start doing something new that we've always wanted to do or that would be of benefit to the family and things like that. Yeah, so I think that's it. I'll try to do that as quick as possible because it's already at 26 minutes. So yeah, I hope that's been of some help somewhere.